Hi and welcome back to the course. One last thing, if you're collaborating with many other people using Git, I would recommend that you all take a reasonably comprehensive Git training course. The content here in this course was meant to help you put your projects out there, but if you're collaborating with many people, make sure that you all understand how Git works and decide on a good workflow that will mean that no work is lost between people. For example, if you add some code to app.py and you push your changes, and then somebody else adds some code to app.py and then push their changes, you're going to have a problem because the other person didn't download your changes first. So then Git is going to be left quite confused. So what you'd have to do there is for the other person to download your code changes, make sure that your changes don't conflict with their changes, and then push the new code up to the remote repository. And this is a simple problem to have. There are more complex problems that you can have, especially if you have a lot of people working together. So, reminder that this Git training in this course is short to get your REST APIs out there in case you're looking for jobs and you want to showcase your projects. If you're working with many people, do make sure that you all receive extensive Git training because it can save you a lot of headaches. And as a reminder as well, if you are putting your code out there for jobs and for other people to see, it's always very useful to have a README file. So I would recommend that you create a README file for your projects. Now, a README file is just a simple text file that will be displayed in your repository when people open it up. So a simple way to go about it is to do vim readme.md, and this initializes a text editor in your console, a text editor called Vim. Vim is quite powerful, but I won't go into all of the details about Vim. Just that if you want to insert text into a file that you've opened with Vim, you can press the I key, that's the I key, and that will put you in insert mode, and then you can insert your description of your project here. This uses Markdown, and Markdown is a way of structuring the text so that it is displayed in specific ways. For example, if you put a hash in front of a line that is a title, my awesome REST API, and then you can have subtitles such as how to install it. You can have code blocks, which are delineated by 3 backticks: pip install Flask, python amp.py. And you can have a few other things like links and things like that. But again, just have a short description on what your project does, maybe implementation, and this project is implemented using Flask and is a REST API for a store, for example. And a description on what the project does and how it works. That's so when employers go to your GitHub page and see your repositories, they realize that you've put some thought into creating nice applications that other people can use and interact with. And that's always going to be helpful. If you have any particular projects that you want to put in GitHub and you're looking for a job, you can always contact me directly and I will give you a hand with essentially marketing them, really, and making sure that the GitHub page looks nice and professional. Once you have written your description of your project and everything, just press the escape key on your keyboard and then type :WQ, and then Vim will write the file to disk and quit the program. Then, as usual, you'll want to do git status, check that the file is there, add it, and then commit readme, and then push. And of course, we'll have to do this again because we have changed the remote repository to use SSH. And notice how it didn't ask me for my password this time because I'm using the SSH key as well. So that's it. When you go to your GitHub page, you will now see a nice thing here with some description, how to install and things like that. This is not very self-explanatory, but I'm sure you can come up with better things for your project. And if you need any help, as I said, just contact me and I will do my best to help you out. And that's it for this section, really. We're going to move on to the last video of the section, just to conclude, and then we'll move on to the next bit, which is going to be deployments. So I'm really excited to go through that with you, and I'll see you in the very next video.